You're all warmed up, Garland?
I'm all plugged up.
Okay, Garland. So let me give you some proper names for your 200 number one Q&A final. You have Betty Elaine Drew, Miss Drew, Orlando, Florida. Navy, Colorado, Jack Hayes, Jack, Pam Green. Gary, Airport Lounge, Holiday Inn, East 5th Street.
Lucretia, can I get these proper names from Blackboard?
Yes. Are they there yet, Michelle?
No, I put them on when I put
Oh,
the test.
once she goes, Michelle's going to go upload the test, then they'll go in there as well, Garland.
Oh, good.
Okay? So as soon as we're done dictating, she'll do that, but today we have to dictate for about this whole class and then the next class for 20 minutes.
Okay.
Okay, Garland?
Is this for the advanced final?
No, this is accelerated.
Oh, this is accelerated.
Uh-huh.
So you're starting at 180.
I'm starting at 200 Q&A.
Oh, 200 Q&A.
So if you want to use it as warm up.
When is the 160? Yesterday, well, I got the information from my friend Michelle, and she said today was Q&A and multi 160 at 10.
Right. So we're taking it by the highest speed and then we're going down. So we'll do the one multis after the Q&As.
Okay.
Okay. So if you want to use this for warm up, that'll help too. So we're going to start with the 200, Garland, and this is starting at the very beginning. Okay, Garland, for 5 minutes.
Okay.
And I'm going to mute you. Okay, 200, number one, final for 5 minutes Q&A. Would you please state your name?
Betty Elaine Drew.
Miss Drew, are you scheduled to go in the military service within the next few days?
Yes, sir.
When are you going to go into the military service?
June 30.
When are you to report? And where?
Orlando, Florida.
For what purpose are you going there?
For basic training.
All right. What branch of the service is that with?
The Navy.
Do you know what your address will be in Orlando, Florida at the present time?
No, sir.
How long is it anticipated you will be in basic training?
8 weeks.
At that time, would you be renting and returning to Colorado?
For 2 weeks, yes.
Just for 2 weeks?
Yes, sir.
Miss Drew, I am going to ask you to direct your attention back to the events which occurred on April 4 of this year. Do you remember that date?
Yes, sir, I do.
Did you happen to come in contact with one Jack Hayes on the 4th of April?
Yes, sir, I saw him that day.
What was the substance of your contact with him that day?
He asked me to go out with him.
All right. Did you have occasion to discuss the fact Jack had asked you out with anyone else?
Yes, sir, I did.
Who was that discussion with?
That was with Pam.
Who are you referring to when you say Pam?
That is Pam Green.
Is she in the courtroom at the present time, seated back in the spectator section?
Yes, sir, she is back there.
What relation is she, if any, to anyone else in the courtroom?
She is Gary's wife.
And Gary is the defendant in this action?
He is, yes, sir.
As a result of your discussion of the fact that Jack had asked you out for a date, what were your feelings regarding the date you were about to have with Jack?
I don't know exactly what you are asking.
All right, let me rephrase the question. You did discuss the matter with Pam.
Yes, sir, I did talk with Pam about this.
Were you in fact to have a date with Jack?
It was supposed to be set up that I was going out with Gary.
Why was that?
Because Pam was going out with Jack.
The date was to be the 7th of April, was it not? Excuse me, Friday night, the 6th of April.
It was Friday evening.
Did you in fact go out with Jack and Gary and Pam that night?
We all went out together.
When did you first see Gary that particular evening, the 6th?
Just before we left.
When was that?
Approximately 7 or 8 o'clock, I think.
Where did you go when you left?
We went to the airport lounge and then to the Holiday Inn.
Who was with you at that time?
I was with Jack.
Was that the only two people present?
Also, Pam and Gary were with us.
Did someone drive the car?
Yes, sir.
Who was that?
Gary drove the car.
Did he have any trouble driving the car?
Not as far as I know, no, sir.
What occurred after you got to the airport lounge?
We had a drink and left shortly after that. We stayed there about 30 or 45 minutes.
Did you have occasion to observe Gary doing the 45-minute during that 45-minute period?
I was with him all that time.
Was there anything unusual about his actions during that period of time?
Nothing unusual that I could see.
After you left the airport lounge, where did you go?
We went to the Holiday Inn.
What is the Holiday Inn?
It is a motel with a lounge. We stopped there for a drink.
All right, and where is that located?
It is on East 5th Street, if I remember right.
All four of you were together at that location?
We were all there together.
How long did you stay there?
We stayed there until about 10 o'clock, I think.
When you left, who did you go with?
I left with Gary.
During the period of time you were at the Holiday Inn, did you have occasion to observe Gary during that period of time?
I did, yes.
Was there anything unusual about his action during that period of time?
Not that I can think of.
Now, you say you left with Gary,
I left with Gary, yes, sir.
yet your date was to have been with Jack initially. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Why did you leave with Gary?
Pam and Gary apparently had an argument and he decided to leave and asked me if I wanted to go home.
And did you?
No, we didn't go home.
Well, did you leave with him?
Yes, I left with him.
After you left, where did you go?
Well, we stopped at a gas station. We stopped at a liquor store and then we drove east on Highway 70 for approximately 5 miles.
During this period of time, was there anything unusual about Gary's actions?
Not that I can think of.
When you stopped at the liquor store, what happened then?
He went in and bought 3 bottles of champagne.
Who bought the champagne?
Gary did.
Then how long did you drive around after you purchased the champagne?
About 2 to 3 hours. Quite a while. I really can't say.
Did anybody drink the champagne?
Yes, we were both drinking it.
Did you drink much of the champagne?
Not a lot of it, no.
During this period of time, how much of the champagne was drunk?
I believe about 2 bottles.
You said, I believe, then were 3 bottles?
He had bought 3 bottles.
Is it correct to say that Gary had most of it?
I think you could say that.
During the period of time you were drinking the champagne, was there anything unusual about Gary's actions?
It didn't seem to be affecting him at all.
Why do you say? Okay, and so we have on your 200 Q&A number 2, Jenny Brown, Jenny, John Brown, Jameson High School, Mona, Dean, Sandy, Burger Bar, Wooden Pencil, Kim, Jack, Westview Park. Any questions, Garland?
I have none.
Okay, and so I'm going to mute you. This is going to be 200 number 2 for 5 minutes final exam. Starts at the very beginning. Now, make sure you speak up. She has to record everything that you're saying, so you can't nod your head. You have to say yes or no. If you don't understand one of my questions, just ask me to ask it better, okay?
Okay.
Will you state your name for the record?
Jenny Brown.
And Jenny, your father is John Brown. Is that right?
Yes.
Jenny, I want you to look at the calendar and I want you to look at the month of October, and I'm going to be asking you some questions about days beginning the 21st of October until right now. Okay?
Okay.
Let's start with the 21st. Do you remember having any sort of contact with your father that day?
Yes.
And what kind of contact did you have with him?
After school.
Did you see him or did you talk to him on the phone?
No, I saw him.
Okay. Where did you see him?
At the school.
And your school is what?
Jameson High School.
And do you know about what time you saw him?
About 3.
Where did you see him?
In the front entrance.
In the front entrance of the school?
Yes.
Were you in school that day?
Yes.
What time does your school get out?
10 to 3.
So it was right when you were getting out of school.
Yes.
And your father was at the front entrance?
Yes.
Did you and your father talk?
Yes.
Do you remember what you talked about?
Yes.
And what was that?
He talked about the court day that they had and that Mona and Dean were brainwashing me.
Did he use that word?
Yes.
What else did you talk about? Do you remember?
He said that he wanted me to go home, that Sandy wanted me to go home and to go to the church that he was going to.
So he told you that that was what I said.
Yes.
Do you remember anything else that he might have said that day?
No.
About how long did you talk to him? Do you remember?
No.
What happened when you were through talking to him? Where did you go?
I just walked down to the burger bar.
And where did your father go?
He went to his car.
And did you see him any more that day?
No.
After the 21st, did you see him anytime during that week?
Yes. I saw him on the 22nd and 23rd and 24th.
And where did you see him? At the same place on those days?
No, it was behind the school.
It was behind the school.
Yes.
And do you remember what time you saw him on those 3 days?
Right at 11:25.
On all 3 days.
Yes.
I see. What's going on at school at 11:25?
Lunch.
So you saw your father behind the school.
Yes.
Were you behind the building during your lunch hour?
Yes.
You are allowed to do that?
Yes.
And he was out there.
Yes.
Did you plan that you would see him?
Well, kind of.
Kind of how?
He said that he would be there.
And he was there those 3 days?
Yes.
And you went and talked to him?
Yes.
Do you remember what you talked about on those 3 days?
No.
Anything specific you can remember?
No, except that he just wanted me to get away from everybody.
If we can go to the next week, did you have some contact with your father on the 27th of October?
No, I just got a phone call.
Who did you get the phone call from?
My mom
And where were you when you got that phone call?
at the wooden pencil.
And that's your temporary housing situation, right?
Yes.
Do you remember what time of day?
No.
So did you talk to your mother?
Yes.
Did you talk to anybody else?
My dad.
Was he in on the same phone conversation or the same call?
Yes.
Do you remember what you and your father talked about?
He said that he was going to meet me at the school Monday to take me to someplace else to stay
Did your father tell you when he would meet you on Monday?
on Monday morning.
Did he tell you where he was going to take you?
I was going to go stay at some friend's house.
Did you know who they were?
Yes.
How did you know who they were? Did he tell you their names?
He told me earlier who they were.
And who were they?
Kim and Jack.
Do you know their last names?
No.
Did you indicate whether or not you would go, or did you talk about that?
I didn't say anything.
What happened on Monday morning when you went off to school?
Monday morning, I was just getting ready to go to my first class when he came into the building.
And what happened then?
Then he said we were going to go. So I got my things and went with him.
And that was about what time?
8.
Before your first class started.
Yes.
So you went with him.
Yes.
Did you protest or anything?
No.
Why didn't you protest?
I was scared.
Did you try and let anybody know that you were leaving?
No. I left Mona a note
Where did you leave a note for her?
in my counselor's office.
Did you do that morning?
Yes.
So you left with your father. Where did you go?
We went to Kim and Jack's house
And where do they live?
in Westview Park.
Okay, did you know how long you were going to be there?
No.
And you were still at their house, right?
Yes.
When did you call and let somebody else that may be involved in the case know where you were?
I called on Tuesday afternoon or evening.
Okay, we'll get ready for your 180s. 180 number 1, you have Parkinson Street, Ms. Brown, and Margot. Any questions, Garland?
No questions, Latricia.
Okay, Garland. This is going to be 180 final number 1 Q&A for 5 minutes, and I'm going to mute you, okay?
Okay.
And it starts in the middle, you all. 180 number 1 final. Did you ever notice my client following you at any period in time prior to the collision?
I passed her up on Parkinson Street.
When you proceeded past her, she was traveling in what lane?
I believe she was in the left lane when I had passed her.
So you would have passed her on the right.
I had passed her on the right.
Then you traveled back over in the left.
Yes. I noticed her children were jumping around in the automobile.
Do you remember how many kids there were in that automobile?
I believe there were 3. I'm not certain.
How much time do you believe elapsed before the impact happened from the time you had passed her?
Oh, I don't remember.
What is your recollection of how the accident happened?
I had stopped for traffic and she hit me before the traffic signal.
Were you progressing at all?
I was not moving or anything.
You weren't moving when the impact happened.
That is correct.
How long had you been detained before the collision happened?
Oh, I don't remember.
Your daughter was sitting where in the automobile?
My daughter was in front.
Was she restricted in a seatbelt?
Correct, she was.
Was she sitting in the middle of the seat or was she sitting in the passenger seat?
No, she was sitting in the front. I have bucket seats.
Okay, simply so that I understand. You don't remember how long you were at a stop.
I don't remember.
When was the last occasion you had seen Miss Brown before the accident happened?
When was the last time I saw her? When I passed her up. I remembered her because I remember her children jumping around in the automobile. And I was saying to myself, why does she have all of her kids jumping around in the car like this?
Why were you at a stop sign when the accident happened?
Observing the traffic light.
Were you in line with the other automobiles?
Yes, I was.
How many cars were in front of you waiting for the traffic light?
I want to say maybe 4 or 5. I don't know.
The signal was red?
The signal was red.
How far were you away from the automobile immediately stopped in front of you before the collision?
I don't recall. I don't remember.
Was it less than an automobile length?
Less than a vehicle length?
Yes, ma'am.
What is your meaning when you say less than a vehicle length?
Less than your vehicle length.
Oh, less than my vehicle length. Correct.
How many feet? If you want to employ feet, miles, or whatever you desire, computations of distance. What distance, I should say, do you normally leave between you and the vehicle in front of you when you come to a complete stop?
I wasn't on him riding his tail, but I was a considerable distance away then.
I'm not interested as much with what happened because you told me you don't remember what distance it was. I'm interested more so in what do you normally do when you come to a stop behind someone and idling at a red light.
I don't remember. I don't remember.
Now, you were restrained in the automobile as well when the impact happened.
Correct. I was.
That is a shoulder harness.
Correct. It is.
Your daughter also utilized the shoulder harness.
Correct. And the lap.
Describe for me, if you would, in your own words, the collision.
Well, when she impacted the automobile, we both proceeded forward. Well, I went forward. I don't remember which direction Margot went, and I hit my head on the steering wheel. And then I inquired if she was injured, and she replied no, and I got out of my car. But she hit my car pretty hard because she hit the bumper.
You observed the damage to the automobile, to your automobile?
Correct, I did. She scratched up my bumper extremely bad.
So you would characterize it as a scratching of the bumper.
Actually, it was not so much a scratch. However, it wasn't dented. It was scratched up extremely bad.
Do you remember how quickly she was traveling when she struck you?
No, I don't.
At any period in time prior to today, have you or anyone on your behalf had reason to view the underside of the vehicle?
No.
Was there any property damage sustained to your vehicle that you had fixed, repaired, replaced, whatever you want to call it?
No. But, well, I got the bumper done.
When you say you got the bumper done, what exactly do you mean?
Where she had scratched it up.
Where it was repaired?
On the right side.
Physically, where was it repaired at?
I forgot what the mechanic did to it.
You're misunderstanding. I'm not asking where exactly on the bumper. I'm asking where was the automobile physically taken to be fixed?
I can't remember at this time.
You got a receipt from them?
No, I didn't.
Did they charge you for it?
Correct, he did.
How much?
This is a friend, family friend.
How much did he charge you?
Meaning the labor?
How much was it for the entire repair?
The entire repair, he charged me $75.
You covered that with cash or a check?
With cash.
Following the collision occurring, were you the first to get and then we'll go on to your 180 number 2 final. Words that come out, you have 180 Civic Center and Mr. Dexler. Any questions on anything there, Garland?
No, ma'am, I sure don't.
Okay, Garland. Then this is going to be your test final. I'm going to mute you, 180 number 2, for 5 minutes. And it starts in the middle. What did you think he wanted you to do?
I don't know.
He didn't state what he wanted you to do?
Not that I recall.
Now, when you got to the bus stop, is that when he took the pass away from you?
Yes.
You were standing at the bus stop when he took it?
No. I wasn't standing at the bus stop. I was walking toward it.
Were you carrying the pass in your hand?
I had it in my hand and I had my purse in this hand.
You said he took both the pass and your purse from you. Is that right?
Yes.
Do you remember what street that happened on?
No, I don't.
After he took the items from you, what did he do?
He ran off.
As he ran off, did you chase him?
Yes.
When he took these things from you, did he say anything to you?
No, but he was laughing.
Did it appear to you that he was acting playfully?
No, not a bit.
How far did the two of you run once he took your things from you?
I chased him across the street to the Civic Center where all those bushes are.
Do you know what street you were on at the Civic Center?
No, I don't know what the streets are.
I mean, how many blocks did you run after him?
Oh, about a block.
Were you running at a fast pace?
I ran as fast as I could.
Where did the two of you end up at the Civic Center?
We ended up in the parking lot.
So, you chased him to the parking lot or the stairwell of the parking lot at the Civic Center.
Yes.
Did you catch up with him in the stairwell of the parking lot?
Yes, I did.
Now, can you describe how you caught up with him?
I don't understand.
Well, when you caught up with him, did you grab him?
I didn't touch him.
What was he doing when you caught up to him?
He was standing in front of the bushes where he had thrown my purse.
Oh, I see. He ran off with your purse and then he threw it into the bushes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did he stop after he threw your purse into the bushes?
Yes, he stopped.
Did you walk up to him or did you go to get your purse first?
I asked him if he knew which bush he had thrown the purse into.
What did he say in response to your question?
He said he didn't know which one.
Did you actually see him throw the purse into the bushes?
No.
How did you know he threw the purse into the bushes?
He told me he did.
He just said, I threw the purse in the bushes.
Yes, he did.
What did you do once he told you that?
Then we both looked for it.
You both looked for your purse. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did he seem to be cooperative at that point?
Yes.
Up until that point, there was really no hostility between the two of you.
Well, there was some, but it wasn't extreme.
So the two of you together began to look for the purse.
Yes.
Were you able to locate the purse?
No, we didn't.
After looking for the purse, I take it this was out on the street somewhere?
It was right next to the chairs.
Do you recall which of you started going down the stairs first?
I don't recall that.
Okay, but why did you go down the stairs?
I was talking to him.
And you just proceeded to go down the stairs?
Yes.
Did you have a car parked in the garage there?
No.
Did Mr. Degzler tell you that he had a car parked in the garage?
No.
So you just walked down the stairs toward the parking lot.
Yes.
And you were talking to Mr. Degzler while you walked down the stairs.
Yes, I was.
How far down the stairs did you walk before stopping?
Probably halfway down the stairs.
That is like walking from one level to another level. Is that right?
Yes, it appeared to be.
I believe you stated earlier that you were about one step above Mr. Degzler.
Yes, I was standing one step above him.
Did he face you at this point when you were standing one step above him?
Yes, we were facing each other.
Would you say that Mr. Degzler is taller than you are?
Yes.
So you were at about eye level when you were stopped one step above him.
Yes, just about eye level.
Were the two of you touching each other at that point?
No, we weren't touching.
Were the two of you about eye to eye?
Yes, he was about this close to me.
And at this point, he said that he wanted to have sex with you?
Yes.
Did he specify what type of sex he was interested in?
I declined to answer that.
Well, ma'am, you are on the stand and you have to answer my questions. Did he specify what kind of sex he was interested in?
He said he wanted oral sex.
Did he do anything to you at that point?
Yes, he grabbed me.
How did he grab you? Did he put his hands on? And so that concludes your 180 Q&A finals, and we're going to go on to our multis now, okay? Any questions, Garland?
What are we going on to next? Two?
Multis. We're gonna start with the 180 multis.
Okay.
Okay? We're just gonna get Kat. Okay. And let me see. Pause it. Tell us if you can see us, Garland.
Yeah, I don't have. I have you and Kat on the screen.